Hey guys, what's up? Tim Queen here, and today I have a question for you. Are you frustrated with LinkedIn? Do you not get any leads, any new clients or customers for your business? And you have tried a lot, you have posted content on LinkedIn, but you didn't get any tangible results. Now, the reason why this might be happening is because you might have fallen into a logical trap. Now, in the 1950s, a researcher by the name of Dr. Skinner performed a couple of research experiments on pigeons. So every time the pigeon would press the button, they would get one piece of food. A couple of repetitions, and the pigeon quickly learned if they do the correct behavior, they would get a reward in terms of food. Because they understood the logic of that, the pigeons would only press the button once whenever they feel hungry. But then they changed the setup of the experiment and they changed how pigeons would be rewarded. In the new experiment, there was no logical conclusion between pressing the button and getting food. In fact, the pigeons would receive food at completely random times and in random amounts. Pause this video and let me know in the comments, what do you think happened to the behavior of the pigeons after the experiment was done from a one-to-one correlation to completely randomness. Now, what happened was the pigeons went completely berserk. Like, they were so super frustrated and anxious because they didn't understand what was going on. What was working before now didn't work anymore. So some of the pigeons really started pressing the button like 10,000 times in a row. Some pigeons tried to associate different behavior they observed at different times when they randomly would get some food. For example, one pigeon might have been turning the head around like on a stick when they were suddenly getting like a random amount of food, and then they thought, oh, this might be the new behavior. So they started trying out new behavior and they didn't know what was going on. And overall, all the pigeons had a horrible time after this. And what happened in this experiment isn't too far away from what is happening on social media and on the LinkedIn platform in particular. A lot of people get very confused when the algorithm is changing or certain behavior seems to get rewarded while others don't. And then you get a lot of people who take the wrong signals as an indicator of success or of quality. And I'm going to show you a couple of them on my computer over now. And then I'm going to tell you what you should focus on instead. Now let's have a look at some of those posts. And this one, we see this post has received over 3,000 likes and over 141 comments. And all this post is saying is, I can see the stars best right before dawn. I see them now and I know the bright new day is coming. Now, why do you think this post is getting this amount of likes and this amount of comments? Because there is a certain group of people who are very receptive to this kind of motivational posts. The barber gives homeless man a haircut and he now looks unrecognizable. Some angels don't have wings, we call them kind people. And then we see again 1,791 likes and 107 comments. In 2021, I wish you a job if you need one, great health, joy and happiness, prosperity for yourself and your family, your dreams coming true, miracles with all of my heart. 12,000 likes, 822 comments. Now, this individual, among other individuals on the LinkedIn platform, are attracting a huge amount of engagement. And when people coming to the platform and they're learning about like the potential that LinkedIn has, like some people tell them this is great for business, you can get new leads, you can get new clients and customers, they're getting excited. And then they're looking for role models and they're looking at people like this and they believe, wow, they get so many likes, so many views, so much engagement, they must do something right. And then they're starting trying to mimic this behavior. And then they're wondering why they're not getting any results, even though they're trying to mimic them and they're trying to do exactly what those people are doing. Let me show you another person. So look at this one. 5 things I learned on LinkedIn this week. We rise by lifting others. It just takes 5 seconds of your time to support job seekers and perhaps change someone's life. Don't judge anyone by their job title. We are in this together. This is the perfect time to build your network. Want to build your network? Simple. Put a like and comment on this post. Follow anyone who also puts a like or comment. PS, I've reached the connection limit. Please feel free to follow me. There is a specific group of people who like to hear stories that confirm to them how the world should be. When you talk about being kind, being helpful, helping people find a job, donating for a good cause, this virtual signaling, there is a very strong group of people who are very responsive to those messages, and they will put a like below that. And then people come to the platform and they see this kind of engagement and think, hey, maybe I should write some inspiration, or maybe I should write one of those inspiring HR stories. I was on a hiring committee where the CEO didn't like any of the candidates interviewed. He said none of them met his criteria. We clashed on this and I told him that person does not exist. There is no perfect employee. He ignored my suggestions and the position remained vacant for 4 months. Long story short, he finally hired someone who had all the qualifications he wanted. This guy had quite an impressive resume, but sadly he did not perform well. He was perfect on paper but did not have good people skills. Qualifications are important, but so is soft skills. A perfect resume does not equate to success on the job. Here is another one. I had someone with an employment gap of 6 years. Nobody else wanted to hire her other than for minimum wage jobs. She was a stay-at-home mom for her kids. Life happens. A gap doesn't discount someone's abilities to perform well on a job. She was great. Her wealth of experience, drive, and commitment was invaluable. There are two major prejudices that no one discusses or cares to. One is the unemployment gap, and the other one is absolute age discrimination, overqualified. There are so many in the position, which is a waste of talent. Now, the problem with this is, as good as the message of this post is, this is kind of like a phenomena where people make up fake HR stories. And they all follow this kind of fairy tale formula where the HR person is fighting against the dragon. In this case, someone is discriminating against someone, for example, who is in a weak position, a pregnant woman, an old person, and it's always like the HR person who's writing the stories making themselves look like the hero. And then my boss said, don't hire this disabled pregnant woman who is 53 years old. And I said, no, I'm gonna do what's righteous and fight for the rights of the suppressed. You will always see that this kind of story is always getting a ton of likes because everyone likes this kind of fairy tale, one good side and one bad side. But then when people are seeing this kind of story, then they feel like they have to create equally similar stories in order to get likes or views, because they assume that's kind of the measurement of success. They somehow have this logic in their head. They believe if I get more views, I automatically make more sales. And that's just not the connection. This is not how this works. What you have to understand is that people getting views or likes or comments for various reasons. And if someone is emotionally touched by heartbreaking fake HR story, that doesn't mean that this person would buy something from you if you run a business. You can get 10,000 likes and you will not make one sale, but you could create a post that gets maybe like 0 to 10 likes, but you could make 2 sales from that. That's the reality. You have to understand what actually counts. It's totally unimportant how many views you get. You want to get the views from the right person. It doesn't matter how many likes you get. You cannot buy anything from the likes. You want people to take action. And it's only one of two things. Either the person is connecting with you on LinkedIn on some level, or you're going to send them to another medium that you own, like for example your website, where someone can do further research or contact you through that. So you want to have the call to action, someone reaching out, sending you a message or visiting your website. You don't care about the likes or the views because that doesn't translate into sales, especially if it comes for the wrong reasons. Now imagine this. Let's say in your local area, there is a club of gardening people. And they like to meet every Saturday and they like to grow their plants and talk about the best fertilizers, and like where to get the best seeds and like tips and tricks on how to grow their plants better and more successfully. Now imagine you wanted to get this group's approval. In that metaphor, the gardening people would be potential customers. What would you want to talk with them about? Would you talk about things and topics that are actually relevant? Maybe you can join the conversation, can tell them something about fertilizers or seeds or gardening tools or the best locations, the best places to get really good soil. There are so many topics that would speak directly to this group, but instead I might talk about something completely different because they see that this different topic is getting a ton of views and likes. So for example, they might talk about chocolate instead. So they talk about like white chocolate, brown chocolate, dark chocolate, different degrees of sugars, maybe different flavors. And what will happen is that when you're talking about chocolate, sure, there might be someone in the gardening group who might be interested in chocolate too. But the majority of time when you want to reach someone for a specific topic, you have to talk about the topic that you want someone to take action on. So if you're talking about chocolate, you're not going to reach the people who are interested in gardening. You have to talk about gardening. And if you run a business, you have to talk about business and what your customers or potential customers need, and not what the majority of people on the LinkedIn platform will be reactive to. This is really, really important. If you don't get this, you're not going to have any success on the platform. You have to get away from looking for role models who have a ton of likes, comments, views. It doesn't matter because most of the time they're getting those views for the wrong reasons. Those are not business owners, not people running their own business. People who are writing those stories often don't run a business. They maybe want to be booked as a speaker, or they might want that someone buys their book, or they just want to feel important and that people look up to them. So it's oftentimes not business related, the motivation behind those people. And if you don't have a business motivation, you can write about all kinds of topics. If all you care is the engagement, the likes, the views, you can write about whatever you want. And you don't have to worry about that your business is not generating any income, because that's oftentimes people who actually work full time. They have their salary. They don't care anything about business or getting the numbers up. So you're looking at the wrong role model. It's really important to understand if you run a business and you want to attract customers, it's that you understand who are your customers. What is your content strategy? And then write about something they care about. Have this plan of action where you plan. Someone is starting out as a total beginner. What do they have to learn to get to this point where they're ready to buy? There is often different phases where they have to go through. And each phase is coupled with different beliefs that you have to change in order for them to progress to the next phase. This is slowly building up the trust. And if you are able to do that with your content, you will see you will not get that much engagement. You will not get a ton of likes, but don't worry about this, because the people, if you're targeting them correctly and you're using the right hashtags, and you're building your network strategically, and you're building relationships, and you're posting the right content, you're building an audience of actual potential customers, not just some fairy tale. These are real people with a real potential to buy from you. And usually that takes time. So if you consistently rotate your content, knocking out each and every one of those beliefs for them to progress to the next phase, and then to the next phase, and then to the next phase, you eventually get people to be ready to buy from you. And if you have like a LinkedIn sales funnel, you have set up your profile correctly, so it's easy for them to get in touch or to go to your website to maybe get some further information, download a lead magnet, you will have the success on LinkedIn. But don't get distracted by the wrong ideas of what success means. Success means money in your bank account. It doesn't mean likes or anything else that is boosting your ego. Now, if you want to learn how to use LinkedIn the correct way, then I want you to do the following thing. First, go to my website, timqueen.com, and download my free 33 pages LinkedIn hashtag guide. This will tell you how to find the right hashtag for your business to grow organically on the LinkedIn platform. Just type in your name and email address and I will send you the free download link. Next, if you want to go further, I want you to check out my LinkedIn Accelerator program. This is my complete A to Z training program, how to build a LinkedIn sales funnel with LinkedIn content marketing that is warming up people through the different phases and then getting them ready to buy from you. I'm going to put both links in the description and into the pinned comment below. Also, if you want to get more videos just like this one, make sure that you hit the like button and click on subscribe and turn the notification bell on so the algorithm understands that you want to see more videos like this in your feed. Now let me know in the comments below, do you agree? Is business content supposed to be different, or do you think content like fake HR stories or any form of motivational, inspirational content is still valid? Let me know in the comments below and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.